Hi, my name is Anwar Nouri. Today we'll speak about dynamic pricing. Dynamic pricing is something that we're living with and no one is calling it out until today because every one of us will be impacted whether we like it or not. And starting with this World Cup next summer, a lot of people will feel the pain of dynamic pricing. So, my background is I have a master's degree in digital transformation from the University of Hull and a BSBA from the University of Tunis. And throughout the years, I have worked in e commerce, electronic trading, and banking, among other fields. And I have seen firsthand the impact of one of the so many algorithms that we live with every day, which is the algorithm of dynamic pricing. Dynamic pricing is something that we see a lot in the moment when we buy tickets for airlines. The first tickets are the cheapest, then moving forward with time, getting closer to the last day of departure, the prices go up. But the time factor is not the only factor that makes the price higher. That is actually historical data that lead companies to know that in specific moments people are willing to pay more for the same service that they will offer eventually. So you and the person sitting next to you in the same airplane may is being paying double or half depending on when he bought the ticket. So dynamic pricing is getting more adopted across fields. And in the United States, it has been introduced to sports, and the backlash initially was very high up until the people got used to it. Now the world is getting introduced to the FIFA World Cup in the United States. And the United States is a capitalist economy, and dynamic pricing is a way to get the maximum out of the customers, which is a reality of the day. So the tickets are now a little bit more expensive than they used to be in Qatar, as an example. Dynamic pricing is not only happening now in the fields of sports, but it's also happening in supermarkets, where supermarkets are now following the number of people, the affluence, let's say, of the people entering in the store in specific moments of the day. And in some countries, we are advancing and seeing some new detectors in front of certain products that are aimed to know if the customer takes more time in front of the product, yes or no, and then based on certain data that will be gathered through the whole interactions, will decide either the price will go up or will go down. This dynamic pricing is based on a very simple yet intelligent economic approach, which is, as we all know, demand gets lower when price gets higher. And between demand and supply, there we have an equilibrium where we will have enough people to buy for enough product to produce. But between the lines, there is a space where price is a little bit, we call elastic. And the price elasticity is the degree to which we can reach and not lose all of our customers. So the price will gradually increase until people will not be able to afford the product, and then it will halt and then kill all demand for it. This sweet spot needs a lot of calculations, and among them, something that I map to my banking background, where the value at risk, VAR, also in football, however, the abbreviation means something else, which is value at risk and not the penalty that people will get. So the VAR is calculated using three methods, which is parametric, historical, and the Monte Carlo. And the Monte Carlo, by definition, is known for many of you as a way to make so many trials to get the closest possible to the reality. We can say that a coin flip will give us 50-50 chances, but with 10 or 20 throws, we can find maybe 75% heads and only 25% tails. However, if we repeat the exercise so many times, thousands upon thousands upon thousands, and maybe millions of times, we will reach more and more and more closer to 50% chance. So with the data that we are offering to social media, with using certain types of navigator or accepting all cookies, will allow companies to define certain behaviors and then map it out in their strategies and the algorithms that they use to feed your data and understand what's the maximum that they can get out of you. This is hard. This is unfortunately the world where we are living, where everything needs a constant revenue stream, which has been seen and shown quite clearly with the business model that is changing towards subscription-based. Where if we remember in 2016 or before, we had Office 2016, which is valid for as long as you can live. However, following the shift where we moved to 365, things went a little south for the customer, but better for the companies that have not only a single transaction where they get the money, but a continuous service that allows for recurring revenue. This is a base of the economy today, so unfortunately, the world is moving this direction. At least in my opinion, it's unfortunate, but for those who create businesses, it's positive. And we need to relativate, if we may say, and take a stand and look forward into what can come in terms of positive outcomes. There are certainly some negatives, which is hurting your pocket, but certainly also there are some positives if everyone will create a business and get a continuous revenue stream. However, it's not realistic that every one of us will create a business. So, should we fight it or should we embrace it and follow the current ways? This was Anwar. See you in the next video.